next item is 12. Action is necessary or appropriate on matters discussed in executive session.
I would like to make the motion that we approve the items for selected employment items, Exhibit A, under action.
Is there a second? Ms. Gardner seconds. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that is 6-0. Any other action as appropriate?
Yes, ma'am. As a draft motion, it's soon to be not a draft motion. I move that we authorize the board chair to execute an employment contract with Dr. Akil E. Ross as superintendent of the School District 5 of Lexington and Richland Counties, effective February 1, 2022. Said contract having been prepared by the district's attorney and reviewed by all members of the Board of Trustees, which provides a term of employment through June 30, 2025, and an annual salary of $210,000.
Is there a second? Mr. Hogan seconds. Any discussion? Can I just make a statement? We really are excited about your leadership, about your heart. You're even to have so many accolades. You're very humble, and those are all traits that I think can lead us to bigger and greater things. I just want to say that as chair. And congratulate anybody else would like to say anything. Mr. Hogan, I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Remember, your wife's going to get you, Mr. Lovelace. I saw his hand first. I'm sorry.
Not just, Jamie hit the nail on the head, Dr. Ross. The work's just starting. Appreciate you. Thank you.
And one of the things that I think is so great about Dr. Ross is that, and this is going to sound odd, but you know, you have to celebrate the fact that people are willing to try and put forth their best and put everything they've got. And even in failure, that is true leadership, because through failure you learn, what it is that you have to do the next time to get it right. And I believe that you exemplify that for our whole district. I don't know anybody that I would think that could pull our district together and work as hard as you have as an interim superintendent, and I want to congratulate you for that.
I just wanted to say that I'm very excited to have Dr. Ross to accept this position and want to work in our district with this board. He's a very humble, yet very knowledgeable and a great leader. He's someone that I'm very excited about getting behind with this school district and bringing the school district together in such an unprecedented time. He's very brave, I think, to tackle this, but I think he has the tools that he needs, and I'm hoping that we can be an asset to him and help him do what we know is it's already a great district, to keep it going and keep it on top and to focus on the things that are the most important to our school district.
Thank you, Ms. Garner. And Ms. Huddle, I saw her hand.
I'm just so excited. I told my daughter, that we had hired Dr. Ross as an interim superintendent. My daughter was at Chapin High School when Dr. Ross became assistant principal there, and I think she probably attended one of his very first principal's detentions. And she learned a lot about that, and she never got one again. And she is now in dental school, so she's done pretty well. But I just think all the things that you have done and started, there are so many people that if they got an interim label, they would just keep the wheels in motion. They wouldn't do the First Jobs Initiative and some of the other, wonderful programs that you've put together. And for everybody out there, as you can tell, it's hard, 7 people, 7 personalities. And Dr. Ross, he calls me every Sunday before a board meeting and goes over the agenda, and we get text messages, and just the level of communication, the ability to deal with 7 very different people is amazing.
Good point, Ms. Huddle. Anybody else? Ms. Moore?
I just wanted to say congratulations. I don't have a lot to say because we've only known each other for a short time, but I look forward to getting to know you better.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Moore. Dr. Ross, I don't really know if I have time to let you speak, but, because we have to, rush through this, but no, I would like you just to have a few minutes to, if there's anything you'd like to say. Oh, we haven't voted. He would have killed me if I didn't. I was thinking we had done the thing. All right, let me see a drum roll, maybe. All those in favor of the motion read by Mr. Lovelace to hire permanent superintendent, Dr. Ross, raise your hand. And that is 6, and Ms. Hines is not here, but that is 6 and no no's. So now you can say something.
Chair Hammond, members of the board, thank you for this opportunity, and I will work as hard. It's been a great 6-month interview, and I will continue to work very hard. I want to thank the staff because, really that's who's behind every one of these. When we started out, we had to come up with language for COVID, and they created those programs, those charts, those graphs, the $50 Fridays, the initiatives that we were putting down, just bringing staff together, and they were heads of programs like First Job. So thank you all for your hard work, and to the community. You entrust us with your #1 resource, and that's your children. So I don't take this lightly, and this is home for me. I've worked and worked a long time in Chapin, but I live in Irmo. My children are at Irmo Elementary and Irmo Middle School, and I'm very proud of what we have an opportunity to build for our children. And I thank you, but as Mr. Hogan says, the work begins, and I'm excited about that beginning. So thank you.
Thank you. Number 13. Oh, sure.
Just as a matter of procedure or house, what do you call it, housekeeping?
Housekeeping, okay.
We have one more motion we have to make for the contract.
Gotcha.
I move that we terminate by mutual agreement of the parties the agreement for interim superintendent services the district has had with Heart Ed LLC effective January 31st, 2022.
Is there a second? A subtle seconds. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of that motion? And that is 6 and no opposed. So now, I think we can move forward. 13, approval of 2021-2022 general fund budget amendment, Exhibit E.
I want to ask our CFO, Marty Rawls, to come forward. We presented the general fund budget at the December 13th meeting. We wanted to do another review of that at this meeting for your approval. So, Ms. Rawls?
Chair Hammond, Dr. Ross, and members of the board, this presentation is practically identical to the one that you saw in December. There's a couple of slides that were removed because they were very redundant, copied from the June presentation of the regular budget. So I just removed them for simplicity. Let's see. I'm on now. Okay, so I put the recommendation at the beginning to make sure you all understood that the administration is in favor of approving this $3.2 million increase. And I want to make sure that I state this revenue is coming. It's nothing that we have done any different. It has to do with the fact that the 45-day enrollment has increased, and it has to do with the final tax assessments. So regardless of what happens tonight, the money is going to be in our possession. What we're basically asking for is the approval of the board to spend those dollars in benefit of the students. Like we talked about, the original budget was based on the 2508 base student cost, which was finally approved at 2516. You can see a significant increase in enrollment between the spring of 2021 and fall of 2021. And like I said, the final tax assessments were published in July. Whenever we finished the budget, the hiring wasn't complete. Obviously, we've had some COVID implications, and especially now as we are back in orange from where we were back before Christmas. Some final benefit calculations changed. We always estimate new hires. You pick an average. We generally budget at a master's with 12 years and full benefits. Sometimes we hire below that, sometimes we hire above that. It's just a good medium for budget purposes. This is where we are as far as our revenues for the 2021-2022 school year. You can see where we projected in the spring and where we are projecting in the fall with the $3.2 million increase in revenues. You can see that that is in state aid to classrooms, EFA. Like we talked about, the base student cost had changed, and we were initially estimated at the 2508, which was the House number, and it was approved at 2516, which was the Senate's number. And that was based upon the fact that it was the Senate's number, but also remember there were a lot of extra revenues, surplus revenues that were identified in the state system, so it allowed the House to actually amend their budget number as well. And also the fact that the operating millage was bringing in additional revenues based on assessment. No increase in the operating millage. This is where you'll see the change in expenditure lines. Budgeting the $3,274,000 over the categories that we normally look at on our monthly financial reports. And as you can see, it will be a balanced budget continued. Are there any questions I can answer?
Any questions? Seeing none, we'll entertain a motion.
I would like to make the motion that we give approval to the 2021-2022 general fund budget amendment shown in Exhibit E from tonight's meeting.
Is there a second? Ms. Huddle seconds. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? That's 6-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rawls. We appreciate the hard work of your whole staff.